Hey everyone, it's Fofo Tsukiyomi. I know it's been a while since I've recorded a video, but here today I'm going to be talking about Übers. It's going to be an Übers documentary on the perfect NEL team. So we're going to be talking about the philosophy of the team, their matches, and then the philosophy of Snuffy and every player that was represented among the Bluelockers and Übers. And Lorenzo, because Lorenzo actually did character development among all the Übers that weren't from Bluelock. Okay, so let's get into it. First, before we get to that, I have opened a Discord. We have medias for memes. We have video suggestions where you guys can leave me my video suggestions. As if in communities, whenever I take down a post, it deletes all the comments. So that means I cannot see your video suggestions if you leave them in community posts. So this is a perfect way for you guys to leave your ideas. And I'm always on the Google Docs, which means I'll always be able to see your ideas. There's Bluelock leaks discussions and more stuff about anime and the rest. Anything you guys want to talk about, I'm down for it. Anyway, back to the video. Now, Bluelock Übers, Italy's team. It's basically Juventus of real life. They'll be down for a defensive lockdown. As long as they can win by 1-0, they'll be fine. As long as they make sure they win. Winning is their ultimate formula, no matter how unflashy it is, the opposite of Barca, which is about being flashy to get their goals. Now, let's get into their matches. Match 1. They face PXG. We know little to nothing about it, but I do believe that before this match was the Barrow and Lorenzo X Snuffy meetings that happened, which is shown during the Bastard München match, which I'll get into when I get to the Bastard München match. But for this match, I think it was just two randoms who scored, and then Vin and Shido scored a goal, and then Vin scored the game winner, as we all know. So they beat Übers by 3-2. The only Bluelockers who did play in this game was RU and IQ. RU came out with a bid of 5 million and IQ came out with a bid of 15 million. So RU didn't do so well in his first match. IQ did it just about right. In their second match, Barrow and Niko finally get some game time. I forget if Sendo did. No, I think Sendo's first match was in the Bastard match too. But they decimate FC Barca, with Barrow finally agreeing to work with Snuffy, which I'll talk about later. This led to Übers just destroying them. Barrow scored a massive hat-trick, and Niko must have got one of the assists because he had 23 mil. IQ had, I forgot what IQ had. RU had like something like 20 mil or 15 mil. No, he was definitely, I think he had 25 mil. Yeah, 25 mil. And then IQ was in like he was just below Chiguri. I think he had 27 mil, if I remember correctly. And then Barrow came up with a whopping 100 mil right off the bat. So Übers were cooking in that match. Only person to score against them was Bachira. And next, we got the match against Bastard München. This match was crazy. I think everyone doesn't really give it the praise it deserves because it was many people, and I mean many people's first to Bluelock 4 match. Like, some people might have started, if you were an anime only fan and then you started reading the manga, you probably made it to the middle of the Manchang match like me. But your first 4 match, yeah. That was a pill to take. That was hard. So yeah, it's going to be like that for the PXG matches and the rest of the matches if you're along the road now. So welcome to the journey. Basically, in this match, it started off hot. Lorenzo was cooking. We had Barrow cooking. We had Niko cooking too. In chapter 210, I believe it was, Lorenzo just stops Kaiser. Chapter 211, he introduces zombie dribbling and goes crazy, even almost getting an assist to Barrow, but Isagi stops it, gets a goal in. It's pretty standard. And then we finally get the backstory, which I probably just will leave it for the Snuffy philosophy story. We have the Isagi trying to get a goal, but Niko uses Metavision to stop him as he's getting jumped by literally 4 Übers at once. We have Barrow scoring thanks to his new goal hunter ability. which is explained to be where you have a perfect striking ability or near perfect striking ability, and then you need to make your chances 100%, because even if your striking ability is good, it can be predictable, as Gagmar predicted Rail's shot. So basically what happens is you have to find a perfect chance to catch the goalkeeper off guard to shoot, to give yourself a 100% chance. Even Kaiser says that you're all blind. You have to see the field in a way everyone else cannot anticipate and read the perfect moment. So when Kaiser shoots it and everyone thinks they've lost a score shot, only Kaiser knows the ball is going in. No one else knows. Except Isagi, because Isagi always be trusting people for no reason. But yeah, that's Goal Hunter explained in a nutshell. Much easier than Metavision. I'm not going to go into this match much because I'm not going to review the whole match. But basically, Übers' moments after Bao's goal was IQ also getting Metavision, Bao scoring that second goal. Aryu didn't really do much in that match. Niko didn't really do much after the Metavision. IQ was getting clear balls whenever Raichi was pressuring Snuffy. Snuffy was just making sure Isagi couldn't get shit done when he was on the field. Snuffy did sub in for Sendo for a certain amount of time. They have a whole berserker formation ready for Bastard München. And Bao scores the second goal once he decides to get away from this mentality of Snuffy, because he just felt like, yeah, Isagi got free stops on me. There's no way this is going to work for me. And then he terminates his contract with Snuffy. And then he scores the second goal, and then Bastard and Bao goes crazy, starts being a full-on leader, defending everything, but Bastard win at the end of the day. Now, we got to get into the last match, which against Übers. Bao obviously scored 2 goals. Agi scored one back from Mangiant City, and then Sendo got a sneak ball off. And yeah, IQ was defending his bombs off in this game, but it wasn't still his best game. I think his best game was against 15 mil, 12 mil, after he got like 35 mil, something like that. Damn. Maybe his best game was against Manshine, because he got 17 mil, and if you look at the terms of increase, that has to be his highest game for sure. And now that we've talked about the games, let's talk about every man's philosophy in Bluelock and how their characters work. First, we have Snuffy. We're gonna do a bit of a backstory. Snuffy is a man who's won 4 of the greatest English leagues. So he's won the EPL, the La Liga, the Liga, and what's the 4th one I'm missing? Bundesliga. The only one among the major 5 he has not won is the what's he called? Serie A. Yeah. So he's trying to win that before he retires and becomes a coach. Now, why does he even join the NEL? It's because, similar to that, he's looking for a new successor. And he also needs to figure out how well his coaching strategies would work, because he's never been an official coach. So the NEL is his first time coaching, which is leading into his future, because he will be a coach going forward after he wins the Serie A. Now, we have to talk about why his tactics are so good, because he was talented with his friend. They won leagues, they scored goals, but they went to parties, they skipped training, and their skills just diminished. Similar to why Chris Prince says you always have to keep your training your body all the time. So that's a philosophy where Chris Prince actually beats Snuffy in about being consistent with your body. But we're not focusing on him today. Let's continue talking about Snuffy. Snuffy's friend dies because they lost the starting 11, and he constantly blames himself because they really effed up, and the pressure really got to him, and yeah, he just ripped himself. And that really hurt Snuffy, because that was his best man, you know what I mean? So what Snuffy does in his tactics is take every single knowledge he can to understand each of these players and fit them in the best roles he can possibly fit them in. Because this way, he takes all the blame as himself. As he even said, if any of these tactics fails and you guys still lose because of my tactics, then it's solely on me, because I'm the president. I will take full responsibility. And it even shows when he's talking about with through Lorenzo, when Lorenzo talks about he's the type of guy who will basically always help the less unfortunate so that they can succeed. Look, Snuffy will always be willing to help those in need because he doesn't want to see anyone suffer the same fate his friend did. So in a mental state, if you perform your best and you blame yourself, this makes you to have self-doubt, and when you have self-doubt, you start beating up on yourself, and when you do that, it could lead to more dangerous effects, leading to potential suicide rate attempts, and maybe you actually do it, which is a scary thought known to man. So by making sure that all the players' attention of losing and why they lost is directed at him, it doesn't really pressure them. It isn't an egoist mentality, but it's a safe mentality because he just doesn't want anyone else around him to die. That is basically Snuffy's philosophy of why he needs to be the perfect coach to save his players. As he always keeps on repeating this when he's on 1v1ing Bao, that before you're a footballer, you're a person. And you need to survive in this life as a person first, then a footballer second. Because he doesn't want the same thing for Barrow that happened to Mark or any of his players that are under him. Now let's talk about Fukaku Jen. Fukaku Jen, he ranked 19th. He ended up with 28 million. He did an outstanding job in the Manshine match as he got a 19 mil increase. He was about to save one of Hiyori's shots, but Sendo came and kicked it in. I'm pretty sure his hand would have reached it as the angle shows it. And pretty much that was all for Fukaku Jen, as he didn't play in the first two matches. He only played in the last two matches. Now we gotta talk about the second lowest ranked person, which is actually somehow, some way. Wait, no, sorry, Sendo. Forgot about you, Sendo. The hyena himself. He doesn't play for the first two games. In the first game, he ties with Hiyori, so I think he has 20. Yeah, he has 20 mil in his first game, which is against Bayern München. He did a lot of crazy saves in the game, and he was just defensively a workhorse. Even battling an injury or like a sprain, whatever he suffered in the Bayern match, he still performed his best, which also gives you value, because if you fight through that, people will know you're a dog, so you're gonna fight through that. And I'm pretty sure he's safe for the U20 World Cup, because I think Fukaku Jen will be 23rd, and then anyone who gets above 28 million will be in the team. So I think Sendo is safe because the NEL is rigged. Anyway, let's get into his final game. He does score a hyena goal when Bao shoots it, Chigri deflects it, and then he scores, which was a big moment because Sendo's been chasing a goal for so long, and as a U20 striker, he had not proven his worth. So finally, he showed something that was meaningful for a striker, which I really love to acknowledge. Next is Niko. Niko really surprised me in this. He probably was Bao's best fit, as he was just constantly serving his king, always making sure Bao got to the right position, to the best place, always being the one to use the swarm effect to the best advantage when they were swarming Gisagi. He even got Metavision, bro. It's insane. He started off in the NEL with 23 mil, which means they really, and I mean really, destroyed Barca, and he was a pivotal role because the major two Bluelockers to come out of that game was him and Barrow for sure. So that means that he would have got at least one assist to Barrow in that game, because if he got like 3 assists, that would have brought his bill to at least 40 million right off the bat. Anyway, we have to talk about his Bayern München game. He does get Metavision subconsciously, which means that he has not mastered it, and he's probably the weakest Metavision user we know in the story as of now. He finishes off with 40 million as he went from 23 to 30 million, which means he really didn't do much, and then he did basically the same against Manshine, which I don't blame him. Facing Nagy is not an easy feat for the lower ones. Next is just slightly above him, RUGBA. He played it, he's one of the only two to play in all the games for Übers. He started off with 5 mil, he went up to I think 20 mil or 25 mil. Yeah, 25 mil, which means he really clapped up Barca's offense really good. And then he went just 10 mil in each of the last 2 games. So it means he played relatively the same against Bastard as he did against Manshine. IQ. But before I get to IQ, Ario, I believe you were wasted. I think you should have gone to a different club. Although your best stats is defending, I feel like Chris Prince could have got you to a place where you could have been an offensive monster. Or even Lavino would have done better for him. But I just feel like Übers is a good fit to make him survive, but at the same time to make him somewhere like top 10 level for the Bluelockers, he is nowhere near that anymore. Anyway, he never was, but still he has no chance of getting there anymore. Next we have to talk about Olivier IQ, for real this time. IQ was also one of the 2 players to play in all the games. He started off at 15 mil, clamped up Barcha to get 12 mil, which means he performed better against PXG than he did against Barcha, which means Ayu really did step up against Barcha, or Ayu was just matched up against a player like Otoya, and then Lorenzo was probably matched up against Barcha, leaving IQ to face a bunch of nobodies. That's probably what happened. IQ did go from 27 mil to 43 mil, which means he did outperform Ayu in the game, as it was shown, as he was always getting recovery balls, clamping up Isagi, and even challenging Kaiser from time to time. And his last game, he stopped Nagi a bunch of times, getting his value up 17 mil, which is his best game, as Nagi was just not feeling it because he hasn't been feeling it since match 1. And IQ took a full advantage of that, and Lorenzo was glazing him too, and all that good stuff. Now, the best Uber in this tournament for sure is Shohei Barrow. But before I get to him, because I want him to be the final person I talk about, let's talk about Don Lorenzo. This man is homeless. I mean, he was homeless. His parents did abandon him. And basically, he had nothing going for him until Snuffy saw potential in him. And Lorenzo challenged him there and there. If he can get him gold teeth, he would do what he wants. So he did. And after that, they became best friends, or like a working relationship pretty much, and he became under Snuffy a new Gen 11 defender. Whew, long video. But basically, yeah, he became the best defender in Bluelock known, and he has full trust in him, and he's actually the reason why Barrow did work under him, because he gives him the line that Snuffy always takes care of the unfortunate. Whether you think about it or not, he has good intentions for everyone, and he basically praises him. Although he's disgusting, he is good-mannered. Let's talk about Lorenzo's abilities, because I don't think I glazed him enough in the Save versus Lorenzo video. Lorenzo's defending, as I said, is top tier. No one has a better defensive stat than him. His zombie dribbling is insane. The fact that he could run the midfield is insane. I do not know if he could be in a striker position, but he could definitely make sure the striker always gets goals, because he is literally the perfect distraction, running from defense to all the way to attack just to serve the striker for a goal, leading to him serving to the next person we need to talk about, Shohei Barrow. He did not start against the first PXG match because Snuffy wanted him to follow his ideology, and that was the fact that Snuffy always asks a question, what makes you want to be a footballer, and they all give their teenager answers, and then he talks about how football is a business, that they will become his arms and legs to the strategies he has, and they will work together as a corporation. Let's treat fitness as a business, as if it's a damn military, and think about it as just a job. Barrow hates this mentality because football means the world to him, and he will never be just one organism with people, because he's always an anomaly. He always fights with his own perspective, and it's shown all throughout Bluelock that Barrow is not willing to work with people like how Isagi would work well with everyone in this situation or any other striker. Barrow's built different. So what happens is, it takes time. Snuffy tries to beat it into him, but he can't, so he misses the first game against PXG. But Lorenzo gives him the talk I talked to you guys about earlier, and that's when he finally gets to play. But thanks to Serena's Rosa's Fury, I did have to wait on this video because I watched her video and then I figured it out. Barrow would have played even if Snuffy didn't basically want him to. I think Snuffy is the coach that is fighting the allegations the hardest, But at the same time, it's kind of shown that he can't because he didn't use 3 of the players that was blue lockers, which means he is kind of under the the PFA, where he basically has to mainly use the blue lockers that are important to the fans, and Barrow is the most important blue locker to the fans on Übers, which means he would have definitely played, as he was one of the top 5 blue lockers entering the NEL. And it's sad because Bluelock used to be so good and so unrigged. It was just like everyone had a chance, and now it's like if you played for the Bluelock 11 versus U20, you automatically definitely gonna be in the top 23. That's what the rig system feels like. I feel like they've already determined the top 23 because it's Ego doesn't really hold control over it. I'll make a full video on my thoughts about Ego and controlling the Bluelock. It'll be my first like deep dive video into the behind the scenes of Bluelock. Stick out for that. Now Barrow Shure. This man scored a hat trick with Goal Hunter. He learned an ability where he could become unpredictable, a lion in the savannah, somewhere where he hides and then he strikes viciously when unexpected. He used this very well against Bastard München, as Gagamar couldn't predict it. But his best feat had to be when he beats 2 Metavision users just to score his own goal, which means Goal Hunter right now, in my opinion, is the best eye in Bluelock, because even without Metavision and facing 2 Metavision users, he still beat him. But at the same time, Nagy did score against Kaiser and Isagi, but that was a limited Isagi. So Bao's goals in my opinion, was harder than Nagy's goal, because if Isagi had a fully developed Metavision like in the Übers match, or a better at least, he would have stopped Nagy. So I feel like Bao's goal was way better, in my opinion. You guys can let me know in the comment section. Now, that is pretty much it on explaining all the players and the coach. My final thoughts on this team was, it was a perfect team. The defense was hard as hell. The midfield was led well by Niko. IQ definitely being the captain of this team. He would definitely be a good substitute ace eater. He probably has learned a lot from Lorenzo during his time there. Ryu was a good swatter to get the pressure off of the defense and onto the midfield. Drago is a goat. He doesn't get enough screen time. Perron and Abdi too, whatever. And then Sendo, he is always an underrated hyena, always doing what he can just to make sure the team survives. And of course, Bao Shohei, the best player and character in Bluelock, in my opinion. He's the best pure striker, not player, sorry. But yeah, in terms of characters, I think he is the best character in Bluelock. Übers was just a perfect team. Their offense was stacked, their midfield was stacked, and their defense was definitely stacked. Imagine if Gagamara was in Übers. It would have been OP. But yeah, Übers should have done way better, but I understand its plot. Isagi was supposed to beat everyone at the ending, and they couldn't beat PXG because they needed Rin versus Isagi to mean more. So it is what it is. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's going to take a while to edit now. Let me know what video suggestions you have. Join my Discord so that we can all just have some fun, and like leave your video suggestions down in my Discord, because that's where I'm going to be mainly focusing on now for looking at them, since it's more arranged. If you guys want like stuff behind the scenes, like all that stuff, like early thumbnails and all that, is down there. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace out.